Hello, party people, beautiful people. I can't believe I'm saying this, but welcome to Fine Time at long last. Jesus Christ, we're here. Everybody. Shit. Alright, good night. Just kidding, I'm still here. Did I fool you? Wow, so I'm here with two of my pals. One of them's name is Steve.
I brought my own mic, you guys.
Holy shit, I didn't have to buy him this one time. And Kevin.
Hey, I'm back. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, he's here. Wow. I mean, I think it's just appropriate to say off the top, anyone who's following us over from our previous stop, thank you. I have no idea how to put into words how thankful I am, but I am really thankful. Thank you for being here. And if you're a new listener, thank you as well. I'm really excited to be doing this. I hope the guys are as well. Kevin's taking off his shirt right now.
The pants are already off.
Oh, wow, a new piercing. When did you get that one?
You've seen that one.
Don't tell everybody.
I didn't think they pierced those.
Oh, boy. So, we're going to do the thing, guys. We're going to talk about what the fuck we've been playing, because this is a video game podcast, and we talk vidya.
Whoa, what?
Wait,
I thought you told me we were going to talk about the Crimean War and its ramifications throughout the rest of history. I'm out.
I don't even know how to spell Crimean. So, I mean, like, we can't really be doing that.
Fine, video games it is.
They didn't teach me that.
I was told you guys were finally doing the Balan Wonderworld podcast with me.
You know what? It would actually be really funny to play that game if we didn't have to, like, play it. Like, if I could guarantee that it was, like, 6 hours or less, I actually wouldn't mind doing that. But I don't want to, like, play it, you know?
I don't know. I did that demo. I don't think I could do 6 hours.
Oh, boy. Anyway, so I guess I'll just start. A few days ago, I finally beat Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition, because when you re-release something, you got to call it Definitive Edition, even if it is not definitive. And I feel like this game is not. That is not a diss on the game by any means. It's just that this is a 360 game, like on Switch or your PS4, whatever your weapon of choice is. I don't know if there's anything really definitive about it. Anyway, but like, I don't know if this is a thing on PS4, but the frame rate, especially on the world map, ooh, baby. Oh my god, Steve, even you had to have noticed that one, right? Like, it was Chuggy McChuggerson out there in the wild.
I've seen worse in my time, but I guess there was some of that on the map.
I think it was really like the crappy geometry. Look, I know it's Xbox 360. I shouldn't be dunking on it too hard, but like, come on, right? Like,
3D Tales has always had a rough time with the overworld map.
Oh yeah, well, like Symphonia's was bad too. Like, they all run shittily. Like, I still have nightmares about Legendia's world map too. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, none of them run great, but for a definitive edition, I think they could like kind of up that a little. I guess not.
You want to hear a quick joke?
Okay.
Tales of the Abyss on 3DS.
Well, okay, like, I wasn't ever going to like brave that, but like, was that like terrible or?
No, I mean, honestly, it was fine until the end. But you want to count some frames? Go to the world map of that game.
No, that's what I mean. The frame rate, not the game itself. But look, this obviously I'm nitpicking about technical stuff. I mean, definitive edition or not, Vesperia is a really good game. Like, after their big blow up with Symphonia, they lost the plot a little bit. The Legendia was like the biggest B team game you could like ever make in your life. There's Tales of the Abyss, and that's fine. I never played it. I don't have much to say about it. But then Vesperia sort of brought it back around. It's like, we're going to give you fuckers what you want, until they didn't with Tales of Symphonia 2. But in this game, they did, man. It's a little long. Probably should be, 40 hours instead of 50 hours. But hey, what can I say, right? Can't have it all. Right now, I'm also actually, immediately after this, I started playing Tales of Berseria, which I am really enjoying. I'm about 10 hours in, and shit. Like, I love this game so far. God, please don't do anything to piss me off. Like, you were going so well. Like, you ever feel that when you're playing an RPG, especially a JRPG, where it's like you're 12 hours in, you're really enjoying it, it's like, don't fuck it up. Don't fuck it up. Like, maybe I just have PTSD from like Final Fantasy 15 or something, but like, did you?
I'm getting scared to actually try that game for real now.
Oh yeah, you played the mobile Switch. That was so weird.
I mean, I didn't. It did the job of making me not hate the characters anymore, but
Kevin, did you play Final Fantasy 15?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, yeah.
I did not play the mobile version.
Mobile Switch version. Did you feel the same way I did? It hits a point where it's like, oh god,
yeah,
this is a Nomura game.
I think we talked about this before too, because I believe you played it after, what was it, chapter 13 or 14 that they actually patched it. Like significantly overhauled, and I think you played it after. I know I played it before, and I have nothing to say other than what everybody on the internet said, that chapter severely tanked that game at that point when I played it.
Yeah, it was like, I think I played it like shortly before the Switch came out, so it was like early 2017 I played it, so it probably was patched. Anyway, but Vesperia is a good time. Vesperia is even better time so far. I hope keeps it up. One more thing I want to talk about, though, and sort of my quote-unquote main thing, was something happened about a month ago. Something happened, as if it's not a video game. Something was released a month ago called Clockwork Aquario. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? I'm going to do my Jay Leno thing.
I did my due diligence and watched the trailer before we recorded, but that's about it.
Okay.
I will admit to the same.
Okay. So real quick history for anyone who doesn't know, Westone, they made Wonder Boy, they made before it turned into Adventure Island, and they made have a hand in the Monsterland series, all that shit. That's Westone. They were going to make one last arcade game, because they were kind of, I don't want to say going down the tubes, but that's just the way the business was going. So in 1992, they developed a game called Clockwork Aquario on Sega's System 18. System 18, for anyone's reference, Fantasy Zone, Shinobi, Alien Syndrome, Golden Axe, Altered Beast, all those use System 18. So that level of 16-bitness, the arcade. It did really bad in its test locations when they released it in like 93 or so. Again, for anyone who doesn't know, arcade games used to have test locations. Yes, around the country or around the world, here and there. I used to go to
Vegas. I saw that in a magazine once.
Okay, we don't have time to explain what a magazine is. Okay,
Fair.
We can't do that. All right, geez. But I used to go to Vegas. We used to make the drive up to Vegas a lot as a kid from San Diego, and Vegas was a big test market for arcade games. So I would play stuff there that wasn't even available back in San Diego well before. And San Diego is a big city, right? So it's like, that's how good the test market stuff is. If you can find it. Anyway, it did bad on its test market locations, Clockwork Aquario, so it got canceled, as games are wont to do sometimes. And so I guess I don't really know all the details from here, but as you can imagine, someone found the prototype or whatever code and it was revived, because, test market games are pretty much almost complete. So they found it and they cleaned it up and released it as a game. Here it is, like a full-ass arcade game. So I guess basically, to shortly describe the gameplay, it's like hit a thing, kill a thing. You've seen it a lot in like Taito games like Bubble Bobble, Parasol Stars, Don Dokadon, like you name it, trap a thing or whatever and pop a thing, I guess in Bubble Bobble's case. Same thing here. Stun a thing, throw a thing. But it's not a single screen like action puzzle thing. This is like a full side scroller kind of thing.
Hey kids at home, if the Bubble Bobble theme is now stuck in your head, you're welcome.
Oh god. Is that Zuntata's biggest? You know what, man? Zuntata makes all the most avant-garde, cool music, right? And all these games, and then Bubble Bobble, that cheery, happy Bubble Bobble. That's the pop song. It's like their most, you know what I mean? It's like an artist curse or something, I guess. Anyway, it feels like Yoshi's Story sometimes, because it's really easy for an arcade game. It's super easy. It feels like Yoshi's Story without the draw of the finding the melons and stuff, where it's fun to explore around, because you don't really do that. It's kind of point A to point B. The music is real bumping. It's like, look, it's the 90s now. It's not that 80s cutesy shit. So you got to do that like bumping, not like, it sounds like the Eurodance stuff from the first half of the 90s. Like, you name it. What's your favorite Euro trash song? I don't know, Mr. Vane, or like, What is Love? You name it, right? Like, that's what it sounds like. The bosses are really easy. They have like really similar patterns. It's almost like they're not palette swapped, but like, because they're not the exact same boss, but they feel like you do the same thing. It feels like that's one part of the game that probably would have improved if it had continued development. And I kind of wish that it did, because it feels relatively unfinished. I feel like this game, there is some talk about like, oh, this game didn't do well in test locations because like, people are into fighting games. Again, this is the, first half of the 90s, and those become popular. Shmups are on their way out. Other stuff is on their way out. The fighting games are what's it. Fighting games didn't kill Clockwork Aquario. This game just isn't good enough. That's why nobody cared. Like, there's Capcom was still doing that. I mean, you still had like Three Wonders. You had like Willow. I know that was earlier than this game, but like, you can do side scrollers at the arcade in the 90s. This just wasn't it. It's not interesting.
Well, outside of it not, you talk about it not being a fighting game, but do you think just because the game it's very bright and it's very bubbly, and like do you think that played a part into it? Because when you're talking about it not doing well in test markets, that was my assumption. It's the early to mid 90s, and I don't know, being edgy was the thing at the time, especially in the arcade market. Was what was a different target audience than the home console market.
Absolutely. So like, you're probably correct. I mean, I'm not saying there's no truth to it, but I think a good game at the arcade, especially a good challenging one, will get those people who still care about that kind of thing. Now, no, it wouldn't have done as well as like Mortal Kombat 2, to be sure. But I still think there was a place for that at this time, and this game just isn't good enough. I'm really glad this exists. Like, I'm really glad someone found this stuff and like went back and cared enough to like do it and put this game out, like this sort of lost game that never got released. I think that's great. I just don't think it's that good. Like, it's $20, at least on the Switch eShop it is. There's a lot of games I would recommend you buy on Arcade Archives for $7.99 before you buy this one, So maybe if it gets down to like 10, definitely give it a shot. I'm not saying this was like crappy or anything. I just don't think it's like that good. So that's kind of my feeling on it. I'm sure people disagree with me. I don't know what the general consensus on this game is. But like I said, I'm glad that it exists. And the fact that it even does exist is the cool part to me. So.
Do you feel like this made much of a splash when it came out on Switch? I never heard of it until I saw it in the show notes, and I don't know if I just missed it or if nobody cared.
You have to kind of be in the loop. It's kind of one of those games where it's like, if you were into like that kind of arcade stuff, you will have heard of it. That's all. But the fact that it's getting a wider release like this, but $20 is kind of prohibitive, right? So it's like, you're not.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, if you got to be in the loop for an $8 game that's coming out with all the Arcade Archive stuff, then that's fine. But for $20, it can't be. You have to be in the loop.
Yeah, you have to be in the loop, and it has to be better than that for $20. But anyway, I the art and the music and stuff is like good enough for me to enjoy, right? So like, that's fine. But not everyone's going to see it that way. Just as a game, it's aight. I'll give it an I. So, but that's about all I got. Who wants to go next? Anybody who's been playing? Steve?
Sure. So, I guess I had to do a quick check on the date. From November 11th till about a week before Christmas, most of my Switch game time that wasn't checking up on my Animal Crossing town was spent playing a little game called Shin Megami Tensei V.
Ooh. Never heard of it.
Ooh.
Now, you might vaguely recall this from, if you weren't also in the loop about this one, from that press conference Nintendo had way back in 2017 when they were showing off games, and Atlas had the one brief teaser saying, "Hey, we got a game coming out." Anyway, unlike other press conferences, games from that thing came out at a fairly rapid clip, you'd have to say, except for this game. So then, until last year when they finally put out the teaser trailer, and then they finally put it out for real this year, and I was all over that shit. I got the special box with the CD and the fancy little bag over there. I was all over that. Popped into my Switch, and oh boy, oh boy. I've been in and out of Shin Megami Tensei Land. I've only really played 4A, a bunch of the weird spin-off ones. They're all dungeon crawler RPGs where you try and recruit demons based on real life myths through giving them stuff, giving them money, beating the shit out of them by threatening their lives, flirting with them.
Real life myths such as the penis.
Hey, I said mostly. I mean, and then there's lovable Jack Frost. Everyone who doesn't want to
hee ho,
give him a hug there. Except he'll, probably freeze your nuts.
I love that. I love that Tokyo Mirage Sessions has hee ho mart. That is great.
It does. And I bring up the whole dungeon crawling thing because they kind of looked at things like I feel like they might have started development right around this time, and they might have looked at Breath of the Wild and was like, we can get in on some of that, and they've made the districts of Tokyo you're wandering around these massive ass labyrinthine dungeons for you to explore in different hubs, sort of like closer to Xenoblade than Zelda. I should say, like you have they're very maze-like. No need to worry about that. Where you still need to negotiate with these demons, and I'm sure we've all seen the one online. So hey, top, middle, or bottom, and Lord help you which option you pick, depending on who you're talking to. There's a lot of other funky differences too. There's I guess other people that are more used to Persona have pointed out that it's more about the world around you and less about the characters. And I guess that was more, other SMT as well, but it's really like that here because you don't really deal with things like shopkeepers or things. Your weapon is just this beam sword you make out of your hand, and your armor is something you change with demon essences. I'll leave it to your imagination what that might be, given all the sex content.
Come
in the game. That
everyone say "come" at the same time. 3, 2, 1. Come. Nobody did it.
I'm not.
Nobody did it. Good night, everybody.
This was a nice show.
Nobody did it. If your fucking friends won't even say "come," like what the? I mean, Jesus Christ, why am I even here?
There's a time and a place to say "come." I'm really invested in Steve's review here.
Fine, sorry.
And okay, we could talk about "come" in another few seconds because the one. Because
this is too early to go off the rails. Holy shit. Okay.
Okay. Instead of negotiating with, not negotiating, but, shopping with people for what you need, there's one shop in town. It's this very horny demon named Gustav, naked save for a crown on top of his head, sitting on top of a pile of money and other treasure, and he's just way too excited to rub even more money all over himself.
This sounds incredible. I have to play this game immediately. I'm going to delete Tales of Berseria and start playing this.
I don't see why you would need to, since they're. Okay,
I'm going to delete Tales. Did you hear me?
It's a lot of things where the more things change, the more things stay the same. You're still dungeon crawling, but the dungeons are much bigger. You're still dealing with demons, but they're kind of easier to talk to once you figure out which kinds of ones you're talking to, and sometimes the RNG is still a pain in the ass.
See, that's always my least favorite part of the game. In any game, I don't really like to recruit things. I just like to have a party. I don't like to worry about that kind of stuff. So the demon recruiting in SMT has always just been like, man, you know.
Well,
So hopefully this is more fun than like some other ones I played, because I always just, you know.
I mean, you go to the realm of shadows, they call it in this one, and I'm sure it's had other names in other games that I don't know right now, where you can buy other abilities for yourself, and that's where you get the things like beat demons half to death, and maybe they'll beg for their lives, and you get these other have a demon in your party already. These ones will heal you, or some shit like that. There's fun things, and then there's the whole part where you fuse them to death. Also, totally not a sex act.
Nope.
Power creep's starting to happen. Okay, you get in the box. We need to get better demons happen now.
My God.
By fucking.
I mean, I'm here for New Game Plus, but I already know why a lot of people like gave up as soon as they got party wiped by whatever boss showed up. It's definitely not for everyone. I know why Andre's going to be texting me at 3 a.m. and tell me, Steve, you said this was fun.
I'm going to cuss.
Why isn't this fun?
I'm going to cuss. I'm going to say a cuss to you in text.
I mean, you're going to like this or you're not.
I just played all 3 Final Fantasy Legends like back to back to back. Like I'm kind of forged in fire right now. So I mean, maybe I can do this. No, there's not the same thing. I'm just saying that like I've seen some shit recently.
Somehow I don't think those are as bad as somehow I think this is better than those. So hey, you're already going to know by reading, well, maybe not by reading reviews, but it's not Persona 5. It's not trying to be Persona 5. It's trying to be Shin Megami Tensei 5, and it's definitely that.
People are comparing it to Persona 5, or people being that base about it?
Yes, they are. You have no idea.
Wow.
But
okay.
You know what else I played? I spoiler alerts for October. I like to play spooky games.
Spoopy.
And towards the end of the month, I decided to pop open a game that I got fairly cheap from Best Buy. Deadly Premonition 2. A blessing in disguise. Oh, I think I can finish this off relatively quickly. Only to open it up and find out that it's not open world per se, but it's got a fairly large sandboxy world where you're going to a Louisiana suburb trying to solve a mystery, and everything's broken.
Every video like you posted was just incredible. It was incredible.
Just search Deadly Premonition 2 hashtags on Twitter. I'm sure not too many other people more recent than me have had brilliant clips, because it looks like an up-res Dreamcast game. Dude, I'm not as big a frame counter as Andre here, but even I can notice all the chugging it was doing while I was trying to skateboard around the map.
Oh, it was like, and the Switch already nerfs your fucking FPS when you like upload a video. So it's like, if I saw it through that, ooh, baby.
There's a loading time for almost everything. Oh, we got to go downtown to the church and talk to the pastor. Okay. There's almost enough time to go make a sandwich in the time it takes to open the church. You ever play Simpsons Road Rage?
Nope.
On PS2?
Have not.
Because they all had bad loading, but that was the worst.
Well, it's PS2, of course. I mean,
because I'd say it compares to that. But anyway, you look past all the things that it doesn't do well, and there is a lot of shit it doesn't do well. And it's actually very stupidly charming. The detective is actually is very likable, if not a little too snarky. You have a little assistant that they give you for, I know, color. You find the bartender who's only wearing underpants. That's a fun time for everybody.
I believe I met him in Yakuza 0.
And there's a side quest with him where you need to get a drink from him every day in order to learn his secrets. I'll spoil it for you from now. He just wants you to give him money every day.
I thought you were going to
to
say
keep
something
going
else.
to the bar. That's his big secret.
I thought you were going to go a different direction with that.
These greedy, half-naked vendors seem to be a theme tonight, Stephen.
Yeah.
Sometimes I try to keep things on theme, and I thought I did by keeping it somewhat spooky, but I kept it on theme in a different way today, guys. And I didn't even do it on purpose. I wish I could cop to doing it. I wish I could say, guys, that was the plan the entire time, but I just can't.
I mean, you could have. I wouldn't have questioned you.
I mean, it's almost like the Shenmue team was trying to imagine what pre-Katrina Louisiana was like.
At like 10 frames a second.
Yeah, like trying to, and with a skateboard that lets you skate on everyone's lawn for some reason.
What is this, Metrocross or like Paperboy or something? What do you you just get to almost said ballyhoo through everyone's lawn, but I don't think ballyhoo is a verb. I don't even know what that means.
I don't know either. The game itself isn't that even that long, but they give you a lot of things to keep track of. Like you only have 2 suits, and you're supposed to keep them on. You're supposed to keep yourself clean and have them dry cleaned and make sure your hunger is in check.
Oh, we're doing all that, huh?
And we use cigarettes to pass the time, and they threw in a lot of details for a thing that, if it weren't for all the loading times and all the other nonsense they make you do, really, like if you really wanted to look at a roadmap of what you need to do from starting the game to getting to the credits, really shouldn't take that long. And yet, I'm going to try and find the first one, because this was a prequel, and that's why I played this one first, because everyone online said, oh no, this is a prequel, you could play this one first. But
who's everyone online?
Well, the people on GameFAQs, that's where I typed it in, and I said,
the year of our Lord, 2022. You trusted the people on Game FAQs. You done did that?
Yeah. The only real mistake I made from that is that I suspect the twist from the first game might have been ruined for me, but I think I would have picked up on that fairly immediately anyway.
You killed Kevin's like in the Game FAQ.
The people on GameFAQs. That's great.
Anyway, I mean that was fun, and if you can't handle me and Andre at our Clockwork Aquarios and our Deadly Premonitions too, you don't deserve us at our when we're talking about Kirby and the Forgotten Lands in a few months.
You don't deserve us at our Mario Odyssey 2 or something.
Kevin, what the heck have you been playing?
Well, I don't know. You're kind of looking at it at a different way than I am, because you guys have all your deep cuts, and I feel like I've got the most basic bitch list of games to talk about. No,
someone needs to be the basic bitch around.
Okay, well, I'll definitely be the basic bitch tonight. Right. I haven't podcasted for like 6 months, so I've got like 20 games to talk about. So no, I'll try and keep it recent. Although I plowed through Prime 2 a few months ago, and I really want to bring that up at some point, but I'm going to let Steven forget why he hates me a little bit longer, because I feel like he's not going to like that one. Because you're the Prime 2 liker, right?
No, I'm the Prime 2 liker.
I
like Prime 2. What are we?
No, but Prime 2 is my favorite. Anyway.
Oh.
Okay, no, it's okay.
All right, anyways, okay.
I understand.
So,
lies and slander, but okay.
Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection, was on its usual half price PlayStation Hits sale again this year for like the 4th year in a row.
Oh my god, I tried, like perpetually on there, isn't it?
Yeah. I tried the first Uncharted maybe like a year or two after it came out. I had a roommate at the time that had the game in a PS3, and I played it for like a couple hours, and it just didn't grab me. I didn't care for it that much. I didn't find it overly offensive. But then all of a sudden that franchise completely blew up and everybody loves it. So I've always kind of intended to go back. So $10, I'm too cheap to not spend $10 on something like that. So I thought I would give the first one a run through. So maybe I didn't quite give it a fair shake the first time. It's fine, but like maybe it's comparable to like a McDonald's value menu meal, or watching Three's Company or something. It's serviceable, but it's not like I don't know. I would say I was underwhelmed, but I didn't go in with a lot of expectations anyways. So what I really got thinking about this is, am I just being like overly pedantic about this game? I like video games so much. I'm much too classy to play fucking Uncharted. And that's probably what it is. I think it's. I went in with like a preconceived notion that this is like the most AAA of AAA games of all time, and it kind of just like wears that on its sleeve, and it's fine with that. And in that sense, I guess maybe it just like takes that and owns it, and it's okay. So yeah, maybe it's not a real long game. Maybe took 10 hours and I ran through it. I was
going to say, I can't imagine it's a whole lot longer than 8 or so, right? Like,
no, it's not real long, and it just, I don't know, it didn't take a lot of thought. I just kind of sat there and did it, and it was fine. I didn't hate my time with it. I don't know if I'm in the mood for something real brain dead again. Maybe I'll fire up 2, because I feel like everybody thinks of 2 as the pinnacle of the series.
Everyone thinks that 2 is a pinnacle of everything. Except like Metroid 2. Also, we're still not totally over you taking out
definitely not Prime 2.
Taking out like John Ritter and Suzanne Summers or whoever else is on Three's Company.
Well, I'm not dissing Three's Company, but I'm just saying. Do you ever like?
Why would you watch Three's Company when Night Court is on?
Well, did you ever watch Three's Company as a kid? Just be like, fuck, that was so good. I'm so glad I just watched Three's Company now.
I mean, like, I don't know. I thought some of it was funny.
It's like having a scratch and win ticket and like winning the same amount that you paid for the ticket. It's fine.
Oh my god! Wow, I did not know this is going to happen to Three's Company. Okay. No, look, I'm not like a Three's Company like truther or something. I'm just saying, like,
I'm not shitting on it. That's the whole point. I didn't say it's trash. I came to say
I know what you mean. I just wasn't expecting.
Okay,
I know what you mean. I just wasn't expecting to hear that.
Well, sorry, Suzanne Summers.
Yeah.
The best part about Uncharted was, so I kind of did the same thing with The Last of Us when it first came out. I tried that. I actually bought that right when it came out, and I don't know. I think I just like struggled to really like get the mechanics of that game or something for whatever reason. I kind of got stuck and I just left it or whatever. So I started that again. That'll be for next episode. But so far, I'm greatly enjoying that. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking to digging into that.
Okay, I actually want to talk about that with you. I'm kind of looking forward to that because I have opinions. Well, I got opinions.
Okay. Well, I actually, when I was about halfway through, speaking of Boxing Day sales, part 2 was on sale for $30, so I've got that coming in the mail. Okay. So I'm planning on sinking my teeth into this. Halo Infinite. I feel like this is almost a waste to talk about because I don't think I have a lot to say about Infinite that most big reviews didn't already say.
How about we do it this way? Like, let me ask you a few questions then. So, like, how long is this? How long is this campaign? Like, because I've been getting conflicting reports. How long did you take?
Oh boy. Well, so how long did I take on the campaign? Probably, maybe roughly 20 hours, but I definitely could have done it in less than half that, I would say, for sure.
Okay, so you did a lot of dicking around and like looking for.
I did a lot of dicking around, yeah, for sure. Just kind of due to the open world implementation of it, and that was kind of my like main concern about this. I think as was everybody's. Is this just going to be Far Cry with a fucking Halo skin on it?
God.
And it's not. It still feels very very much like a Halo game. So I think in that respect they. Did it a lot of justice.
And if I had some Photoshop skills, I'd be right on the Halo with a fucking Far Cry skin.
Just put all the doodads like on the map, like everyone shits on the Far Cry stuff, and it's like it's shittable. Don't get me wrong, but like you know what I mean. I don't know. I really like Far Cry 4, or like whatever, right? Like I don't know. Like I mean, like the map though is silly. It is like this is a video game, guys. Like yeah. But
it just, I don't know. It's very paint by numbers.
Yeah, it is. I mean, but ultimately, it's kind of fun. I've heard a lot of people make a lot about the fact that like you're just kind of in the Halo world. You just got a whole lot of variety and like scenery and stuff. Like, how did you feel about that?
Yeah, that was definitely my biggest issue with the game. So you spend, or I guess kind of depending on how you play, I did probably spend 80% of my time in the open world areas, and even that there's not a lot of variety in it. There's some kind of swampier areas, there's some more hilly areas, but for the most part, it's lush and green and hills and rivers. There's certainly no snowy areas. There's no fucking desert areas, nothing like that. But it's okay outside. When you get into the indoor environments, like everything is very similar looking corridors, like blue tinged steel, like very, very similar, to the point where I was not looking forward to doing the mainline campaign missions because it was so similar. I don't think this is a spoiler. At the end, there's a large environment that's very brown, and it was like super fucking refreshing because it was brown.
To see like a brown area, like it's like 2009 or something. Like,
yeah, 2009 is fuck.
I felt like I was playing Quake all of a sudden. It was great.
Oh boy. I think that's kind of it. Yeah, see, like, I feel like, obviously I haven't played this game, I don't have an Xbone, but, like, those were the two things that I was wondering about the most that would probably bother me. I saw some of the grappling hook stuff, which looked kind of goofy in a, like, a weird way, or, like, a fun way. I don't know. Did you?
I loved the grappling hook, and I feel like I never want to like play another open world game without a grappling hook again. I wish it had a dedicated button. So the way it works, you have like 4 different items that you can assign to that. One of them is the grappling hook, and then there's 3 others. The grappling hook is so intrinsically built into the design of that game that you can't really use those other items for a long period of time. I feel like they should have probably had that grappling hook be its own dedicated thing, because it's so critical to the way that you kind of have to play that game.
Kind of like how they dedicated the rock feather in Link's Awakening 2019, because before it was just an item,
exactly,
where it's like you're using it 80% of the time though. So
yeah, that's exactly the same concept. So it a lot of those other items I would have wanted to use more because they're interesting and they're fun, but I was just deterred because I needed to use that grappling hook.
Okay, so I think those are all my Halo questions. So if you have anything else to say about it, I guess you can. But
one thing about the difficulty. So every time I've played a Halo game, I've always and pretty much all games, I just play on normal difficulty. Just because I feel like that's the way it was intended, and I don't want to like drag a game out usually longer than it needs to be. Halo Infinite, I really wish I would have played on heroic, because it was I found it explicitly too easy on normal difficulty. Except there's one boss, and it's probably a quarter of the way in, that was by far the hardest part of the game, Bassus or Basis, and he was a fucking asshole.
Jesus Christ.
Other than that, heroic would have been fine. And the only other thing I wanted to kind of pick apart was going back to, we talked about Far Cry and the map, there's some like basic functionality that I feel like should have been kind of a given. For example, if there's certain outposts or kind of things that are checked off on the map, it's really hard to tell if it's like grayed out, or if it's been completed or not completed. And there's no filtering available for that. So I spent a substantial amount of time staring at that map, going back and forth, trying to zoom in as close as I can, figuring out what I'm missing for certain things. And that just feels like it would be something that's really easy to implement, that would be, a fairly, that would have been a big quality of life thing for me. But overall, yeah, the game I think it's a good foundation for the series moving forward. But I hope they continue to build on Infinite itself, for the next 3 or 4 years, and add a lot of new content to that game, as opposed to just trying to move on to a sequel.
I know everybody's enjoying the multiplayer a lot, so like I don't know if that's something you do, but
I did the multiplayer a bit. I was mostly there for the campaign, as I usually am for most things.
I figured as much. So
I too read Playboy for the articles. What are we talking about again?
We're talking about cum.
would almost rather talk about Cum than the next one.
Okay, fine. Get it out.
Okay.
Get it. Just
right.
cuss
So
on us.
I don't know. I feel like almost the expectation is like, okay, I'm hamming it up because we're doing a show or whatever, and I'm not hamming it up. This game really fucking bothered me. I bought the Skyward Sword HD remake.
I'm sorry.
The day it came out. And I've been trying to. I've never finished Skyward Sword. I've been trying to finish it. I finished it maybe 2 weeks ago, and it was because I just couldn't fucking motivate myself to finish it. To the point, like my wife would come out and she'd be like, "Oh, how's your game?" And I'd be like, "I fucking can't stand this game."
But I thought video games were fun, honey.
Visibly agitated playing it. So when I first played this on Wii, and I tried it a couple times, I thought I didn't like the game. Because of the motion controls. I thought that was the barrier to me. And no, that wasn't the reason. The reason is because I actually believe, and I thought about if I want to make this statement, I think this is a bad game. It's not just not a good game. I think it's a bad game.
Yes. I also believe it is a bad game.
Just to get the controls out of the way, obviously to try and shoehorn this into Switch, it's different, and it's certainly not intuitive the way that they've done it, but I think it actually does work well after you've done it for a couple hours. It's not intuitive, but once you get your head wrapped around it, it kind of, it's not a barrier necessarily. It's not something that I was constantly thinking about. Mm-hmm. The problem with this game, and what really, really bothers me the most, I think there's a really good game deep down inside of Skyward Sword. I think it's got some really, really interesting ideas. It's got some cool puzzles. It's got some cool settings. It's got some really cool bosses, some cool dungeons. Like, there's a lot of good in here. I feel like when they were developing that game, they really, really needed to cut the fat a lot. And I think that it wasn't even just like feature bloat. It's just like, they kept building things that they liked, and they stacked them on top of each other and stacked them on top of each other, and they just didn't like work well together. The stamina gauge. I know the stamina gauge on Breath of the Wild is kind of hit or miss with people. I cannot think of a single reason why that stamina gauge, it doesn't contribute to anything in Skyward Sword other than just being a pain in the ass. Like, okay, so you say this limits you from like running on quicksand for too long. Well, just have you fucking sink into the quicksand when you run too long. Like, it just slows down the fucking game. And that's everything slows down this goddamn game. I don't want to search for the tears or whatever the fuck they are, like, over and over and over, and try and hide from those stupid fucking guys. Obviously well documented, but fee or fi, like, even though they reduce the amount of interruption in this game, it's not even the amount of interruption, but it's so fucking stupid, the stuff that she says. Like, if I want to know like what I'm supposed to be doing, if you want to put that option in there to go ask Fi, what's the objective, great, but I don't need it shoved down my fucking throat. This is not the first time I've played a video game.
Hey, Kevin, I need to ask, does she let you know when the batteries are running low this time?
No, I don't. Yeah, no, I never. I don't know. I always like played docked. I guess I never got like a controller low battery
because
thing.
I haven't played the Switch version yet. I'm going to, regardless of your warnings, and that was what bothered me more than anything else. Oh, I'm sorry. Is it time for me to swap out the Duracells? Thank you so much, Fee. I'll get right on that.
I don't know. She would just point out like the world's most obvious shit. Like, okay, thank you. Like, shut the fuck up.
Bombs are things that explode.
Here's the problem. This game like seems like, and I think it was done intentionally. It seems like it's gonna end like 4 fucking times, and then it's like, nope, there's more game here. You know what? I wanted it to end the first time. And the by far the most agitated I got in this entire playthrough, there's the imprisoned boss fight. You do this boss fight like 4 fucking times, but at one point you literally do almost the exact same boss fight like 45 minutes in between each other, and the second time that happened, and so it come up again, and I was like, there is no fucking way that they're gonna make me do this again. There's no way. And like they barely even changed anything.
I don't know.
It has. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, like, I don't know if anyone here, and you shouldn't have, but if you've ever played the Order 1886, So like, okay, the last boss is exactly the same as like like the mid boss in the game, basically at the midpoint of the game. It's the exact same thing. And also, at some point in that game, in the second half, they introduced like Dracula, and then so the last boss should be Dracula. It's not Dracula. You never find out what happens to Dracula. You just get to do the same like boss fight with like the same QTEs, like the exact same way, and then the game's over. I'm sorry, I don't know why I thought of that.
That,
but like,
that almost seems like they had an excuse that like maybe they ran out of money and time and they needed to like take something and replace the final boss. This one, it's just like they kept just like ramming shit down.
They knew what they were doing
and over and over. Like I don't know. Overall, the game, I did not feel like it had any respect for my time. Again, they didn't need to add a single thing to that game to make it good. All they needed to do was take away the shit.
Yeah, I am in 100%, everything you said, 100% agree. That is how I always felt about Skyward Sword. I never understood why anyone liked it ever, and it wasn't because of the motion controls. And I didn't mind the controls. I knew I disliked it just because it was a piece of shit. So that's how I've always felt, and I guess you're in complete agreement. Steve is a madman.
It's not my favorite one. I'm just saying it's not that bad.
I don't know. I was like, I'm really going to enjoy this game because I don't have to do the motion controls. I did not go into this like feeling negatively. I went into this thinking I was going to have a great time with it, and it fucked me.
Well, next show you bring up Metro Prime 2, and then we can disagree a lot about that. But
I'll wait till a slow night for that one.
Yeah. But we're gonna take a break, and we'll be right back with some big questions. Be right back. All right, we're back. We're going to do my contrived thing called Big Questions. So we're going to talk about a thing. I'll ask everybody a question. It's going to be fun. So I guess I'll go first. So last month on the Game Awards, remember December 2021? It feels like 6 months ago. They showed a cinematic trailer for something called Sonic Frontiers. It looked like it was like a open world type of Sonic adventure, the type of game. Like it had these like really expansive and lush environments, but like Sonic style, like not like the checkerboard shit, but like the, something more akin to Sonic Adventure, I mean, the checkerboard shit would look silly, and also I would be into that too. And that's the problem, guys. I'm into it. Why hasn't anyone talked me out of this? I've been hurt so many times over the course of my life by this series, especially in the last, 15 years. Help me. Can someone tell me not to be into this? I thought you were my friends. Jesus Christ.
Once upon a time, they were also very close to making... it's kind of like Mario Galaxy. That'll be fun for the kids, won't it? It was technically playable. But not very good at the end.
Kevin, help me. I feel like there should be some sort of
you know what? I get it, because that trailer did look pretty cool, especially the sweeping environmental scenes. But I don't know. I'm not as into Sonic as you are. Every time that I've dipped my toes in and fucked with 3D Sonic a little bit, I'm always pissed off. Sonic Adventure 2 was okay-ish, but anytime other than that, I've always felt like any footage or trailers that I've seen beforehand do not live up to the game, and I don't know. I've lost trust at this point.
You can say that, but my brain isn't telling me that. I know that.
Hey, you know what I think is giving you hope, and it'll be funny to look at this in a year, or maybe we'll be real inspired by this. They said this was supposed to come out last year, but they're delaying it another year for quality improvements.
Yeah, when's the last time they said that? right? And also, like, Sonic Forces from 2017 was like one of the worst games I've played this generation. That game is awful, like genuinely, like fucking terrible. Like you could say, okay, you can say what you want about like Sonic. I think Sonic '06 is better than like Sonic Forces. I'm dead serious. Like that game is glitchy and it sucks, but at least like the levels, like you have like a. This is just Sonic Forces was absolutely like horrendous. So I don't know, man. Like, I know we're talking about low bars here, but I guess I'll just be excited, and I guess I'll have to get my heart broken.
Do you think it's actually going to be open world, or is this just going to be
No.
like a few large environments?
Yeah, it's gonna be like Pokemon Sword and Shield. You're gonna have some like large environments, you know, but I don't think it's gonna be like fucking. It's not gonna be Far Cry, the Sonic game. I don't know. We keep going back to Far Cry, but
Well, I feel like if it was going to be open world, they would have like explicitly said that.
yeah,
I think maybe they just like gently tried to imply that, but it's not going to be the case.
I don't feel like that would be appropriate for Sonic anyway, necessarily. But anyway, it looks cool, and I just want everyone to know out there that I have hope unnecessarily. But Kevin, big question you got.
Yeah, we're a little over a year into current gen PS5 and Series X, and I'm just kind of curious to both you guys. You know, what are how did things land based on compared to how your expectations were and what we were talking about before these consoles launched last year?
Well, for me, basically in line with what I thought, because everyone knows the mitigating factor, the Rona, right? So, like, this is pretty much what I expected. In a quote unquote normal year, we'd see a lot more games. Think about how many games, and we saw it, like, got bumped to, like, there's so many games coming out in these next, like, few months. It's ridiculous, right? Everything got bumped to this spring 2022 launch window. Everything. And I feel like in a normal year, we would have seen Kirby for Christmas. We would have seen, you know, like Horizon Zero Dawn for Christmas, right? If they had it their way, and like we didn't, right? So I just feel like it's almost like if I were to give it a grade, I'd have to give it like an incomplete almost, right? It's so hard to judge. But considering what we got, this is what I expected. Steve?
That's fair.
I mean, from a broader point, I don't really feel like we're in a new generation at all, mostly because you still can't buy a fucking system.
Yeah. I mean, the supply line is fucked, right?
And I know I'm being a tad naive here, but I like to, well, you know, before it wasn't okay to touch things in public, I'd go to the store and play a demo unit. There's been none of that for this generation of consoles.
Can't do it.
It's been a year. I have not played a PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X. I've seen the one they keep in the little tube without a controller attached, but and it also doesn't help that there is a lot of these games that it's gonna be on PS4 and Xbox X too. I mean, God of War Ragnarok's gonna be on both. Halo is on both. I mean, that doesn't say next generation to me.
Sure doesn't to me either. And look, every generation has their crossover games. But look, I get it to a degree. I don't necessarily like it. And what's coming up here, also Gran Turismo 7 is going to be on both, which is, look, you have to play the lowest common denominator. And look, it's just going to have to be what it is. But when you don't have to, you can get something truly unique, like a Returnal, right? Returnal is probably, I mean, no probably about it. It was the best PS5 game last year to me, whether cross-gen or otherwise. You know what I mean? That's it, man. Yeah, Kevin, I don't know. It's weird, right? Because it's like the games have been sort of weirdly trickling out. There hasn't been you feel this way too. There hasn't been as many games as we probably expected.
Yeah, for sure. I think I don't know for me, and I know a lot of people see it differently. I think Xbox had a stronger first year than PlayStation. I also think looking at the upcoming year, I think I'm a lot more excited for just as far as platform exclusives, what PlayStation has than what Xbox has. I don't know. I thought this was a really interesting time as well, because I always feel like looking back through every console generation, and specifically between PlayStation and Xbox, that there's always been I feel like I would have always had a sense within a year of which platform likely would have been the dominant platform. And I really do feel like in this circumstance, like everything's a fairly even keel in a lot of ways. There's definitely strengths and weaknesses on both sides. What I'm kind of curious about as well, just with the ongoing shortage, do you think that's going to kind of force a parity between sales for both of them, just because it may be quite a while still until anybody can go out and get exactly what console they want? Or are people just going to start picking up what they can get? Like, is that going to push far enough into the future where that actually affects, neither one of them being able to really pull ahead in the generation overall?
Among more casual fans, absolutely.
Yeah, I think in general that might be true, because I feel like you said, it's a pretty tight, even race right now, if you want to think about it that way. I wouldn't be now. I have a PS5. I don't have the Xbox Series X. I personally like the PS5 architecture, whatever the exclusives and whatnot. So like, I wouldn't quote unquote settle for Xbox Series X, but I think a lot of people would, especially even enthusiasts like us. I really do think that would be the case. I think you're onto something there. It's not something I really thought about before, but I think you might be right. I don't know, especially with you can see it in the way that, the Switch Lights weren't selling nearly as well as the original Switch, right? And then people got desperate. I guess this is all there is, so I'm going to buy it. Same thing with PS5 Dick or Dickless, right? Or sure. Like any Series, people are settling for Series S's. I know that much. Right.
Yep.
So
I know, Steve, I know you're deeply in Camp Nintendo, but if somebody came in and shoved you into PlayStation or Xbox, which one would you go for?
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I mean, there's Game Pass, but I did play God of War on PS4. I want to see how Ragnarok picks up from there. Ooh. I'd flip a coin. I didn't pick, I guess.
All right, Two-Face. Jeez.
I don't know. maybe that further supports my guess that everything's on fairly even keel right now. Yeah. I don't know. One other thing, and I don't know how to phrase this as a question, but just a thought I had, going back to when you guys were talking about everything coming back on last and current gen. The deeper we get into this generation, I feel like Xbox really did shoot them in the foot by doing the Series S and Series X, whereas PlayStation, they did the disc or no disc. But moving forward, all of the games that are exclusive to PS5 are going to be supporting one platform. I feel like when we get 3 years down the road, Series S might be kind of a liability to Series X owners, just because, I don't think 3 years from now they can come out and they can be like, well, some of these games are high end enough that we really can't make them support Series S. And I know we talk about scalability a lot. But especially going back, we talked about that the Matrix Unreal Engine 5 demo. Like, boy, I feel I don't know. I'm kind of curious how that ran on Series S, and if you take something in Unreal Engine 5 that they've been working on for 3 years down the road and try and put that on Series S, I don't know. Something like that, I don't feel like is as scalable as what we've been seeing in the past.
That Matrix demo is fucking incredible. Oh my god. Like, I know it's not old news now, but I just figured I gotta say that out loud. Like, that shit, that blew us both away. Mm-hmm. Like,
yeah, that demo, actually, I would say the last time I was that strictly like graphically impressed with something I actually played was the first time I played Gears of War on 360.
Yeah, that's a long time ago, man. Wow. Yeah. I'm trying to think of I'm trying to think of a comparable for me. Maybe Destiny. Because that shit, because I was so into that game's art, and then the art versus it really brought to life, with the graphics at that time at 1080p and whatever, right? Like, I thought maybe that was the last time But like, whew, baby, yeah, you're right. That Matrix thing was just. If anyone's not a believer of next gen or what it can do and the things it can do, just show them that. Just it's unbelievable.
What do you think if they had been okay 3 years from now, if they keep working on that and they actually turn the Matrix into a game rather than a tech demo, and they put that out only on this generation of consoles, how does the Series S run that?
I don't think it does. I think you're correct. I totally agree with that. Like, I don't. It would have to be extremely compromised. They'll have to like cyberpunk it or something, like.
And I certainly like. Do you think there's any chance that Microsoft would say, okay, we're going to put anything out 3 years from now only on Series X, or are they going to just throttle everything?
I really hope they don't throttle everything, because obviously that would hold back again. We were talking about lowest common denominator with things trying to be on PS4 and PS5 and shit like that. You can't really do your best when you have to worry about something that's not as good as you. So, and the things you can do. So, and this Matrix demo proved that. Like, if you take off those shackles, look what the fuck we can do. If it's not just about making everything just 4K and 60 frames a second with the same graphics, which is great too. Don't get me wrong. I love that we can do that. But it's just, you're right. Yeah. I hope the shackles come off, and I hope that demo shows people we really need to move the fuck on. Like, I think a lot of things that held back, like I said, I'm playing Tales of Berseria right now. That's a PS3 game, man. It came out in 2016 for PS4, but it also came out on PS3 in Japan. That's a PS3 game, and it looks like one. And it's disappointing because we never really got both of the Tales games for PS4 were also for PS3, and it looks like it. So I hope we can move past that soon with this kind of technology.
I think it'll be interesting in a few years just to revisit that Xbox discussion, because I think at the time, from a sales perspective, the Series S was a great idea, and for a lot of consumers it makes a lot of sense. But I think in a few years, in retrospect, it's going to be looked at as an explicit mistake.
We'll see. But yes, moving on to the next question I got for y'all's. So, Sega. Thank you, Sega. Sega announced, if you remember a couple years ago, they put out something called an Astro Mini, or Astro City Mini, where it's just a bunch of Sega games on a little tiny arcade machine you can plug in with the USB and everything, and you could also get up your TV, HDMI. I got one of them. Those are great. There's some really good Sega rarities on there. They announced another Astro City Mini called the Astro City Mini V. V for vertical. I should have said vagina. What's wrong with me? Whoa. Jesus. Vertical vagina. 22 vertical screen games, including tons of Toa Plan, Rising. Of course, they're going to bring the shmups, right? If you're going to have the vertical screen, you got Truxton, you got Batsugun, you got Kingdom Grand Prix, you have the Psycho stuff, you got Gunbird, you got Strikers 1945, you got Samurai Aces, you got Stone Cold classics like Raiden, Zaxxon, right? Like some of the best stuff of all time. You got some stuff being ported for the very first time, like Truxton 2, Dogyun, Batrider, Battle Backraid, all for the first time. Most of those are raising shmups, but like, yeah, you got the goods here. If you are a shmup person, holy shit. Just an absolute incredible set of games. I never expected to see something like this. So I know you guys don't give a shit about this stuff like I do. So I guess here's my question to you. Do you actually think we'll see increasingly like niche mini console stuff like this? Because like in a couple months, the Taito thing is going to come out. The Taito Egret Mini 2.
First of all, Andre, rude. I am interested in most of these games.
Okay.
I just don't have the $100+ for a dedicated tabletop unit for this sort of thing, and I'd rather wait for console.
By the way, we don't have a price yet, nor the Sega just said this is coming out in 2022. We don't have a price or a date. Just to put that out there.
I know, but I'm basing this on the price of other machines similar machines they put out.
Sure. Look, not everyone's willing to make that investment. Like someone who doesn't give a shit about this stuff, like Kevin, it's impossible. I would never recommend like you spend like $150 on some like niche machine. You know what I mean? Even if I were to be like, hey, if you want to get into some cool like niche games, here's a way to do it. It wouldn't be the Astro City. You know what I mean? I'd much recommend you like something else before that. You know,
what I am going to say is that before COVID and before all not you assholes, the assholes on the internet decided to buy up all the chips to do crypto bullshit, decided to take all the chips away, I would have said micro consoles were dead when Sony shot the bed with the PS1 Classic. I would have said that was the end of it, but now that there's all these little markets to fill, I would say, yeah, I think we'll be seeing more of these mini consoles before we see less of them.
Yeah. It's really good stuff for someone like me, but just I love the fact that these exist. Even if I didn't care, well, maybe Kevin could speak more to this. Like, do you like how do you like as someone on the outside who doesn't give a shit about this at all, like how this market has been developing?
I don't even know how to wrap my head around this, because I think when the SNES Mini came out, I was sure that in the next year we were going to see a Game Boy Mini with like 40 Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance games. Like that seemed like a fucking given for me, especially given how cheap like screens and parts are for that kind of stuff now. Like they could have produced those and they could have sold them at $80 or whatever, and they would have sold 1 million of them, and that didn't happen. So then when I see stuff like this coming out, I don't know how to make sense of it, I guess, because I think there's a lot of things before this that would have made a lot more sense and would have gathered a lot more consumers that nobody's really looking at. So I don't know. Maybe Nintendo's going to do the Virtual Boy Mini instead. I don't know.
I would love that, but don't make it mini. Just make the Virtual Boy with all the games in there. It doesn't have to be small.
I don't know how you make a mini of that.
Don't make it small, everybody.
What? It's one eye.
Oh God!
Unless you do
before we came on, me and Steve were literally trying to think of the plural of Cyclops, and it was Cyclopes. I think I said Cyclope, and that was not it.
I think it was Cyclope or Cyclopes. It was something weird.
I think it was Cyclopes. Anyway, Cyclope is funner. But Steve, next question.
So, okay, Kevin told on me. I've been sort of telling on myself all night. I'm a Nintendo person, and they did the Nintendo expansion pack. It's got Nintendo 64 games, Sega Genesis games, and they're kind of just doing whatever they want with it. Like, after it showed up in October, they gave us a month's break in November, and then Paper Mario just shows up in December, and we're just, this is unacceptable, blah, blah, blah. But no, wait, guys, Banjo is coming this month. It might even be on out live by the next time we're recording. Who knows? Like, okay, but that's still not good for a premium service. And then a few days after that, Sega came by, and they're like, okay, guys, here's 5 more games. So, what the hell's going on? Good stuff? Nothing?
It's weird, right? I did the Sega, I almost said. The Sega the Sega Shadow Drop. See, I was going to say Shadow Drop, so I said Sega. It was weird, right? Because like Sword of the Million, which I'm playing right now, and like some other stuff, right? Like Dynamite Headdy, which I never want to see again. Altered Beast sucks. The actual quality of the games doesn't matter. It's just like, what the hell? You're right. What the hell is going on? And I said before, when they announced this expansion pass, I was saying for $50 a year, almost said $50 a month, would you be outrageous?
I'd be driving to Seattle now if it was $50 a month.
Oh my God. Can you imagine for a $50 a month?
Look, I'm getting my money's worth out of $50 a year because me and my sister got the Animal Crossing DLC for free well, not for free, but included in that.
Yeah.
And that's worth it in itself. But
what I said back then when they announced it is that if you're a single person who doesn't care about Animal Crossing, this sucks. I care about Animal Crossing, which is why I got this. I would have never got this just to play like Yoshi's Story or like, you know what I mean? That's not interesting. Also, the N64 games run like shit. So like there's that too. So
honestly, I don't see it.
I do, and it's distracting. It's especially in something that runs 60 frames a second like Yoshi's Story. You can see it. I can anyway. Like,
I don't know, but there's those speedrunners online that are standing there like, look, there's a split second in Ocarina of Time when I'm trying to do a backflip. Like, guys, I just can't with you people anymore.
No,
I'm just trying to play Sin and Punishment in peace.
Yeah. No, man. Well, Kevin, like, do you have the expansion pass? Do you or no?
You know what? I got the expansion pass, and mostly for the reason that I've got like 4 other people on my family plan. Matthew seemed like he wanted to play the N64 games. I thought maybe at some point I'm going to play the Animal Crossing DLC. I haven't touched it yet. But to be honest, as far as playing those N64 games, I'm certainly not saying everybody should do that. Most of those games that I'm already interested in, I've got sitting in here with an N64. Mm-hmm. And that's probably how I'm going to play them.
I'm not really interested in any of them. None of them are games. Like, I'm kind of interested in playing Win-Back again, and that's it. You know what I mean?
I've never played Win-Back, so that might be a thing you hear me talk about on an upcoming show.
Oh, it's a Koei classic, baby. No, man, it's weird. And look, what's coming out? Banjo-Kazooie. We don't even know what's coming out after that. Paper Mario already happened. I don't give a shit.
F-Zero is and a bunch of other things where their Treasure made a cheeky tweet about saying, hey, we're on there. Maybe that means other things are coming.
You carry a torch for that company like anyone else. I've never seen anyone else do.
Okay, you know what? You're Mr. Let's have a segment for the Astro City Top Day Machine. You're going to make fun of me for Treasure?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Look, I asked you guys to let me talk about Shmups for 3 minutes. That's all I asked. And we did, okay? Jeez.
And then you're going to make fun of me for Treasure.
Well, Incredible. They put Dynamite Heady on there, which isn't that good. I don't even like that game that much.
Okay, but if they put Mischief Makers out, all would be forgiven.
They better fix the fucking frame rate thing by then. That's what's keeping me from playing through you. Look, I love Yoshi's Story. You guys know that. I played through it several times, every which way. It's a very replayable game. I can't stand looking at it on there. They better fix it. Maybe they did. I don't know. Maybe when like they put up Paper Mario, or maybe when Banjo goes up, they'll improve it. I don't know, but not right now. But all right, next question. Final Fantasy XVI has seen a 6-month delay in development from their previously planned progress, according to producer Naoki Yoshida. COVID-19 and the related hurdles made it impossible for game development to continue at the pace that they were planning, such as working from home. Communication isn't the best. We all know the pratfalls of what's going on here, right? So they put them 6 months off their course. And I guess this isn't really... I guess we can talk about Final Fantasy 16 if we want, which is a game I'm really excited about. Another reason why I'm glad I have a PS5, but because that's an exclusive. But I guess more broadly in the macro, like, when do you think we're going to see the end of these ripple effects of the Rona, basically, on game development? I'm not sure. It might continue through 2022. We know how long it takes to make a game now, right? So... who knows?
I don't think we're ever really going to know. As everybody knows, game development is messy, and nobody has ever figured it out. There's always problems with tons and tons of games. So are those problems going to seem amplified or caused by... by the limits of COVID, whereas those problems maybe would have been found, in a world without COVID? I don't know. It's hard to say. I think it's a very like gray area answer.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're never really going to know either, because Kevin, I know you've been reading Nintendo Power Online scans and things in places. How many games in the preview sections had made the targeted release dates in those in the previews?
Oh man,
there's a lot of games in there that I've never heard of that never launched.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It's
so
definitely not consistent.
As someone who grew up in that time, I'm used to this sort of thing, and I think you two are too as well. Oh, is it really coming this Christmas? Come on, were we ever really going to think that? Come on.
I mean, I would have bet, I don't know how much money, like, that Xenoblade 2 would not make December 2017. I would have bet any amount of money.
Oh, I was surprised as hell to actually see that happen.
I thought that was like Delay City. Like, do you guys agree? Like,
I was like, no. March 2018, the earliest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought, like... even if it's hitting something as big as Square Enix, which look, it's hitting every company, but if they don't have the manpower to cover, who does, right? What does that mean for like a mid-range indie or something? Like, geez, I don't know.
I think on the flip side, though, that, you know, we are 2 years into this now, and people are probably going to start finding, you know, a lot of ways where development maybe works better remotely.
I hope so. I really hope so, just because, like, yeah, these people work so hard on this stuff. I'd like to just see things go smoothly, and I'm just raring for Final Fantasy 16, honestly. So, man, I'm excited. But Steve, next question.
Well, sort of related to what I was talking about before in a cosmic sense. New Year's Eve, out of the blue, an achievements list appeared for GoldenEye 007 on Xbox One. So, guys, is this it? Is the beloved Nintendo 64 Classic finally coming out to modern consoles?
First of all, I do not beloved this game. Secondly, probably, I feel like these things are never wrong. Have we ever seen a fake achievements list?
Well, last year they did put out the well, not that. Well, I don't have the exact group. Someone found a version of this game made for Xbox 360, and you can play it on a hacked Xbox or on your PC. I'm not too privy on how to do that sort of thing.
Well, and it sounded like at that time that a lot of the rights issues were kind of semi worked out then as well, and I think that almost came out.
Yeah. So, like, I believe if it's not a licensing issue, well, here's I don't know if you were going here. Sorry if you were, but like, do you think this is the N64 game, or do you think it's that remake that we saw that leaked? Like, what do you think this product actually is, or both?
I think with all it's a messy negotiation. I can get into what has to happen there, but I think we're going to be looking at Xbox getting that version and Nintendo getting GoldenEye 007 on Nintendo 64, Nintendo Switch Online, because that was always one of the flaws in the ointment. The other one is with the film company itself. Well, not just MGM. They have to answer to a group called Eon. They're run by a sibling pair who has the final say on anything. And they pretty much, I don't know if you people recall how bad 007 Legends was and performed, but they struck it off the face of the earth like a number of months in, and there hasn't been a Bond game since.
Just by the name, it sounds like you play as all the different actors who played Bond.
You play as Bond in different eras. It's supposed to be a Skyfall game, but you're like tied up and you're like reliving different eras of. Well, it's not good.
That sounds like a mess because, like, how can you make a coherent game out of that?
It is so not good that they wiped it off all the digital storefronts, and the only way you can play the full complete version, if it's not already installed on your machine, is to buy a physical copy of the Wii U version, which has the patches uploaded to it.
Well, look, I try. I don't know. I remember in the GameCube era, there was like, wasn't there a game called Nightfire? Right? Wasn't there that? There was there. I don't know. I remember like so many 007 games. I know there was like a World Is Not Enough game. I just never really play these, so I don't really have much of a mind for it.
Rare briefly had the license for a time, and then it went to EA, who made 007 as not movie games. They made other stories that couldn't be confused for the movies, and then Activision got it, which is how they sort of made you may remember about, oh god, it's been over a decade now, where they put out, oh guys, look, GoldenEye on Wii, but it was more Call of Duty than anything else.
So just back to that comment about it coming to Switch Online, so are you saying that Nintendo still has a stake?
They do
in GoldenEye as well. Okay, I didn't know that.
At least that's what I've read across a lot of sources.
I don't know how much I buy that though. I mean, that doesn't seem correct. Why would they have a stake in it? I mean, I know it was a Nintendo 64 exclusive, but so what? I mean, it was made by Rare. Of course it would be, right? So
maybe Rare just had relied on Nintendo to deal with the licensing deal.
Maybe.
Could that be?
If Nintendo made the license and had Rare develop it, then that would be it.
I guess so. But that,
because it's not like there wasn't a pile of other N64 shit on Rare Replay when that came out, and that was fine.
That's true. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I just hope everyone buys this game and realize it's not that cool when you're not drunk in college and playing peekaboo multiplayer. But what the fuck do I know?
Look, I'll tell you from now. It might have been how shitty my TV was getting in high school, but when I tried playing it again after the GameCube came out, it was not as fun as I remember it being already.
I thought the campaign was like fun enough, and that was it. And it was fine. It was a pretty good game, but just that multiplayer stuff, people like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Well, you got to get goofy with the multiplayer. You got to turn on rocket launchers or just play with knives. Or
if I have to fix the game,
I think at the same time, like, I don't know. There was a lot of people that hadn't been playing multiplayer first-person shooters, if they weren't playing on PC until GoldenEye came out anyways. I think it was just, that was the first time a lot of people got to have that experience.
It's the first time thing. Yeah, I get why people have that attachment. I'm just, how I am about that.
Look, if I were a betting man, I think we're going to be hearing something about this soon.
We are betting men. But maybe more on that later. But Steve, you have one last question.
I do. It's it's a new year. We all got people buy games for Christmas, and it's usually a slow month for releases. So that's usually when we all start wondering. Well, we start hassling the Nintendo account. Hey, where's that Direct? Yeah, sure, we know games are coming, but where's the Direct? What's coming?
Pokemon Arc System Works, or whatever it's called, is coming out in like 2 weeks, isn't it? They've got to have a Direct. They got to.
It's people have. I looked it up. There's never been a main Direct in January.
And usually Pokemon stuff does its own Pokemon Direct anyways, right?
Yeah, you're right, I guess. But like, what do you mean there's never been a main Direct in January? They've been doing it for like the last since
They've
Switch.
all been in February. There was that one mini one in January.
Have they all been in February?
There was that 10-minute one they did once where they showed off Dark Souls and whatever else.
Is that the one where they teased Chibi Robo on fire? Because that was like the best.
And then we were supposed to guess Dark Souls from that somehow.
That was excellent. I still go back to that tweet and read like the comment. Seriously, like that was great. Look, they gotta. Kirby's coming out. Like, I don't see how they can wait any longer. I feel like waiting till February is a terrible idea. I mean, look, it won't kill them or anything. I just feel like right now they gotta get some word out. Like, I was half expecting like yesterday to see like there's a new Direct coming in and it's gonna blow our podcast sky high. But
I mean, I think we're gonna have the Direct soon enough, and we're gonna hear about Splatoon 3 tests because they said that's coming this year. And all the Splatoon, both, I say all of them, like there's 5,000 of them. Both Splatoon games had some manner of, hey guys, come on in and let's test the servers.
Kevin, what do you think? There's got to be a Direct this month, right? Like, it just feels like you gotta.
I don't know. I seen a tweet exactly what Steve's referring to, and I don't know if the precedent isn't there. Like, who's been working on that Direct over Christmas? I don't know. Are they actually like ready from a production standpoint? I don't know. How long does it take to get a Direct together?
I don't know. See, we don't know the particulars of that, especially now with COVID-19, right? So like we don't really know.
And that's where I'd like to be wrong. Maybe next week they'll be like, hey guys, Direct on Thursday. Fuck you, Fine Time.
I would love if Nintendo talked about us in such loving terms that way. But yeah, man, I don't know. I'm pretty dead set on this. I feel like this is going to happen. I don't know. I know it's not. God, I know this doesn't really have a whole lot to do with it, but it was just the weirdness of the last 2 years. Remember, like, everything started with the Mario 35th rumor, and all of that came true, like every single bit of it. Like ever since then, and I've always said Nintendo was like the leakiest ship there is. I believe all the rumors that come out of there, and they're almost always true. So if I hear any like a sniff, get a whiff of a Direct, I'm gonna believe it. So And not any of those like YouTube things where it's like, have the shocked face, Nintendo Direct leaked or something like that. It's just them speculating like we are.
You don't follow the thumbnails that say Animal Crossing Electric Boogaloo and Star Tropics Hot Nights and.
If it were rated, if Star Tropics Hot Nights are rated mature, I would play it.
And Triangle Strategy, just because you got to throw a real game up there.
Yeah, isn't that coming out like in April? Come on, guys, we got to have a Direct. Like, anyway, I just feel like having a Direct in February, like a month before Kirby's supposed to come out, is like really not. What's up? I don't know. Anyway.
Well, I don't think like Triangle Strategy coming out in April is like if we don't talk about this in January, this game is fucked. If we wait till February, nobody buys this.
Yeah, okay, you're right. Obviously, I don't know why I'm so dead set on this. I don't know why. I am.
It's gonna be soon, and it'll be soon enough.
Maybe I just really want one this year. Usually, I'm pretty patient about these things. I'm not one of those direct like beggars, but like I don't know. Right now, I don't know. Maybe I just need it.
It feels like overall like the video game news cycle has been pretty slow, and maybe it's always like this and I just don't realize it. It seems especially slow in the last month.
Yeah, it has been.
Maybe you're just hankering for some
news.
There's
usually nothing after the Game Awards.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that was our big ass questions. Maybe I should officially change it to big ass questions. I like saying ass. Anyway, we'll be right back.
You would.
All right, we're back. We laughed. We cried. Maybe not. I don't know. Bit generic, but anyone get anything good for Christmas? Steve?
Well, our co-host Andre saw fit to get me a PC Engine Mini for Christmas.
You had to start with that as if like I was like alley-ooping that to you or something. Like, you better say the thing.
Or else. I kind of like it so far. Maybe I'll even talk about some of the games.
Kind of.
I'm trying to add some color for the folks at home.
He likes it a little bit. Don't act like you weren't staying up all night playing the Kung Fu.
Hey, it's a fine walking simulator.
That's the best.
The original walking simulator.
With the biggest sprites known to man. Anyway, what else?
I got some fine time paraphernalia from Kevin, and probably my favorite gift. Sorry, guys, I got it from my folks. It's for lack of a better term, a big ass smoker. It's got. I like to grow outside in the summer, and this is the next logical step. It's got I think it's got 5 racks, and it's charcoal and mesquite, and lots of gauges and things I need to read up on the manual for before the proper weather comes in for me to actually start using this thing. I'm real excited to start using it.
I think someone else here is very excited for you to start using it as well.
I'm pretty excited too.
I think he's more excited than you are.
I was like majorly jealous, but I am very much looking forward to all of the smoked dish pictures that are coming this summer.
You got to try some smoked cheese, though. You got to try some cheese.
I know. I know just the store to get it all from, too. I just got to...
What do you think the laws are about sending cheese over the border? It's probably fine, right?
Yeah, it has to be. It can only be a cartoony wedge of yellow cheese.
It's probably legal if it's been smoked first.
Yeah. Only smoked cheese might cross the border.
That makes it a commodity, eh?
Yeah. Makes perfect sense.
I guess you go next, Kevin.
Yeah, what did I get? I got the Xbox 20th anniversary controller. I thought that looked pretty sick.
That does look cool as hell, actually.
Yeah, I really like that. It's still just under my Phantom White Xbox controller. I really like some of the like half translucent shit that they come out with. I got the System of a Down albums Mesmerize and Hypnotize on vinyl, which are some of my favorite albums of all time, and I think it's just especially cool to have them as like a double set. Not only are they like excellent albums and just very interesting albums, the way that they're kind of companion albums and they're similar in a lot of ways, but also vastly different. But they have some of the coolest art that I've ever seen on an album cover. So having both of those together is pretty sweet.
Those are great records. I'm a Mesmerize person.
I thought you were a Hypnotized person. We talked about this the other day.
Does Mesmerize have... See, it's been too
Mesmerize long. Has like the brown guy on the front.
Oh, I am a Hypnotized.
Has like the blue guy person. On the front.
You're right. No, I'm a Hypnotized person.
You are. I can tell you.
he had me pegged from the beginning. There was no hiding it.
And also, I sent these guys on Discord photos the other day of me using my nice new luxurious foot bath with my Epsom salts and my pumice stone and special foot cream and all of that. The reason for this being that I have type 1 diabetes, so I got to take extra special care of my feet. So my days of soaking my feet in my wife's large Tupperware container are over. So I think she's probably thankful for that as well. I also got very nice gifts from these two. Nobody told me that we were doing Christmas gift exchange, so I sent out fucking hanky 3D printed signs, and then I got nice gifts back from everybody. So
whatever.
We're gonna feel bad.
Those were gifts you made from the heart, Kevin.
Yeah. Well, they were, but next year I'm gonna mortgage the house and buy you guys both Lexuses that I like 100% can't afford, just to make you feel very bad.
Okay, you just 3D printed Lexus.
I'll be in. No, I'm going to be in prison for payment default by February 2023, just to prove a point.
Yeah.
But when you're eating that wedge of smoked brie, you'll be like, "Oh man, that was worth it."
Yeah,
full soaking your feet.
Like, why did I say? I can't believe I only sent him a Lexus. This cheese is so good.
2 Lexuses. But yeah, I got typical. My parents never know what to get me. I just get. My dad always gives me cash. My mom always gives me gift cards every year, which is perfectly fine. They never know they don't know anything. I've said this plenty of times on other stops of podcasts. My family in general doesn't know anything about video games. They just don't understand, right? They're just those people. There's nothing wrong with it. I was never discouraged from playing video games or liking them growing up or whatever. And they always bought me them, They just don't get it themselves. So they would never go to the store and get me like a whatever, right? Like they have no idea. But my friends do. Thankfully, and my friend Vin, friend of the show, got me Shin Megami Tensei V. Hey, weren't you talking about that earlier, Steve?
See you on the other side.
If I get there. I'm tenacious. I'll get there. And so this guy, I'm pointing at him, Steve, he sends me, and I thank him for it, but he sent me a present from Amazon, and again, I thank him for it, but it just came in a box. There was nothing in there. It wasn't marked as a gift or didn't have a gift note or anything. It was just a manga in a box. And it was great. It was Akira Toriyama's manga theater, all those little short stories, one shots and all that stuff, like mostly before Dragon Ball, like in the early late 70s, early 80s, like when he was still doing like Dr. Slump and like other stuff. But he has other one shots too. But point being, I thought I almost accidentally ordered this myself because I had looked at it like a few weeks ago and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I thought like, okay, did I sleep order that? Like I've sleep ordered something before, right? So like, don't put it past me. So I texted this guy. It's like, okay, I hope you sent me this, right? Like this is you. Yes. And he claimed responsibility. And so thank you, Steve. Other than that, that's about it. That's all I need for Christmas. Oh, yeah, and like I said, Kevin 3D printed up some nice Fine Time stuff, and probably will in the future. That was fun. Okay. Folks, it's time to play a game. It is time.
Oh.
Well, how much preamble should I give? Oh, fuck it. Okay. I don't know shit about Pokemon. So, Steve,
I feel like you should. You hang out with you hang out with Van. You'd think some of that would seep in.
None, dude. And if it did, I don't remember shit about those critters. Even if like he mentioned like the names of them, I don't remember. Anyway, I'm shitty about Pokemon. I don't really. The only ones I've ever played were Blue, and I played Diamond. And like, I mean, I remember a lot of Blue. I played it a lot. Diamond, I guess, was fun, but that was like many, many years ago. That's the extent of my Pokemon knowledge. All my other Pokemon knowledge comes from. I've learned more about Pokemon from Smash Brothers than I have like playing Pokemon. So,
I was gonna say that should be a source of any number of Pokemon.
The only reason I know anything about Gold and Silver is because of Melee. Honestly. Anyway, so with that said, me and Steve are gonna play a little game called Pokemon or Name I Just Made Up.
So hey, there's going to be 10 of them, all right? There's no real score, but we're going to just find out how good you are at guessing, or if you actually remember any of these.
I'm like, my chest is already tight. Like, I'm already embarrassed. Like, it hasn't even started yet.
And Kevin's just waiting to see how many he might know to see how embarrassed he should be.
He's gonna laugh at me a lot. He's gonna laugh.
All right, the first one we have is Abomasnow.
Abomasnow?
Abomasnow.
Oh my god. See, I'm already...
It sounds real.
Yeah. Can I phone a friend, Kevin, if I need help? Like, can I...
I mean, you can always consult with Kevin, but I don't know how helpful that's going to
be. Yeah, I wouldn't consult.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to say that Abomasnow is a real Pokemon.
He is.
Ah, yes.
See, I figured you would have at least remembered him from Smash Brothers, but the Ultimate with the ice punching and the other things that pop out of his armpits.
The only one I really remember from Smash Brothers is not a Pokemon. It's a Black Knight who comes out and says, "Know your place," and then he leaves.
Yeah, he's fun too. The next one is Floatzel.
Floatzel. That evolves from Geoduck. Floatzel. That is a real Pokemon.
He is.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Wow, I'm 2 for 2. This is unbelievable.
This is unbelievable. I thought you'd trip on this one for sure. He's something of an otter who has a inner tube around his
dick.
I was going to say chest, but sure. Why not? If it makes you happy.
Yep.
Our Snickerpoodle.
Snickerpoodle. See, that sounds so fucking fake, right? But it's like, that could be... I already guessed 2 real, and they were real. I know this... It sounds like the exact kind of... Fuck it. It's real. Snickerpoodle is real.
Snickerpoodle is fake.
Ah, god damn it. Alright.
There's a lot of dog Pokemon, but this isn't one of them.
There are dog Pokemon, though. Okay, I didn't know that.
At least one per set. But...
Are any of the Pokemon the Howl dog that has the eggs that are hatching the eggs? The Howl laboratory dog?
No, but that does sound like one they should do eventually.
Alright, next Pokemon.
Fatulence.
Come on! You're fucking with me. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. Oh, I want to say that's fake.
You're saying he's fake?
No. That's not my final answer. I'm gonna phone a friend. Kevin, what the fuck? What is this?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like Nintendo lets Fatulence slide.
Okay,
fine. Fatulence is fake.
Yes, he is.
Fake. God, thank you, God. Oh man.
All right, something a little less disgusting. Gibble.
Gibble?
Gibble.
Gibbles and bits and bits and bits? I'm gonna say Gibble is a fake.
Gibble is real.
Oh shit! What is Gibble? What?
He's a little baby dragon shark.
Gibble? Gibble?
Gibble.
Oh man!
Spook shelf.
Spook shelf? Ooh. See, I'm real shitty with the ghost Pokemon, even though Gengar is like... Well, Spook doesn't necessarily... That is fake. Fake. Final answer.
Yeah, Spook shelf is fake.
Okay. I'm doing better at this than I thought. This is kind of wild. I haven't been keeping score, not that I care, but...
Rectile.
I think you only one wrong.
Reptile?
Rectile.
Rectile. Rectile dysfunction is fake. Final answer.
Rectile is fake.
Wow. Jesus.
Ooh, that was a good fake name,
though. I mean, look, on a flip a coin game, I guess, every dog has its day, right? Jeez. All right.
Hippopotamus.
Hippopotamus?
Hippopotamus.
Hippopotamus. Hippopotamus. I don't think I've ever seen a hippo Pokemon, but that doesn't mean a goddamn anything, right? Because I haven't seen 700 of the Pokemon. I'm gonna consult with Kevin again. Kevin, what do you? I mean, hippopotamus.
Oh,
I'm kind of leaning real, honestly.
Yeah, that's what my gut said too, but I don't want to lead you astray.
I want you to lead me astray. What do you think? Real?
I think it's
okay.
real.
We have consulted, Steve. Fatty hippoglottis is real.
Yep, he's a little hippo who lives in the desert.
Desert hippo?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
He evolves into a bigger desert hippo.
That's awesome. I'm learning a lot about Pokemons. How many do we have left? Couple?
2.
Okay. I'm really liking this game.
Koala.
Oh, boy. Koala?
Clawwalla.
Clawwalla. Ooh. That's very Pokemon. I'm going to say that's real.
Koala is fake.
Oh, damn.
Looking forward to the fan art. No,
that's a good one. I would have... That's a Pokemon-ass name. That's a good one. You got me. Okay. Final Pokemons.
Last one. Licky Licky.
There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. There's just no way. Kevin, there's no way.
I don't know. That doesn't need to be sexual.
Well, no, but like I'm thinking like Lickitung, right? And like
there's a Lickitung, and that's fine.
Oh my god.
I don't know.
Oh Lord Almighty. You know what? I'm gonna dive right into the abyss, the Tales of Abyss. Licky Licky is real, Steve. Final answer.
He is.
Oh my god! It's real.
He's you were on the right track. In the 4th set of games, he's evolved from Lickitung, and he's just a bigger Lickitung with a weird pompadour thing, which is weird because he's a lizard of some kind. But
a Lickitung is a lizard? That's weird.
It's some kind of salamander.
Oh
thing,
yeah,
right?
salamander.
With the tongue. I picked all Generation 4 Pokemon because I just have the Legends game on the brain.
Okay.
For the real ones, but I gotta clearly think of more inspired ones if you can guess them that well.
Dude, it's a coin flip game, right? I mean, it's 50-50.
I think you did a commendable job on the fake names.
Yeah, see, what we're going to play with Kevin, which we'll talk about another time, that's a pick up between three things, right? So, like, that's a lot tougher. This is, like, real or fake. And, I'm just stabbing in the dark anyway. That was really fun. We're going to have to do that again in the future. Once you think of some good, some more fakes, and you're gonna have to help me stump this guy on the game.
I'll have a look at the list later.
Okay. Anyway, but that was fun. But before we get out of here, just a couple more things. So guys, what's your game of the year, and why is it Metroid Dread?
Because it's fucking awesome.
Kevin?
Yeah, it definitely was Dread. Dread touched me deep down. But I gotta, if Dread didn't come out this year, I feel bad for not saying Forza Horizon 5 because I don't think that a racing game could do anything better to be a better racing game. I don't know. I think it's limited only because it's a racing game, but it's immaculate.
Yeah, that game looks. Oh my god! If I had a Series X, holy shit, that blew me away. The last E3 when I saw that, that was the game of the show for me. That was a showstopper.
It was so good.
Oh my god! Does it have real quick? Does the game have like a campaign like Forza Horizon 5? I don't know how Forza works. So is it or is you just drive around and do stuff?
No, it's got I guess it doesn't have like one main campaign. It's kind of got like a central storyline which also surrounds like the Horizon Festival, and then there's kind of like different like sub stories that are part of it, but there's not like a big grandiose campaign that with explicit side missions
okay.
or anything.
But yeah, man, Metroid Dread, there was no comparison for me once I played it. That was it. The only thing that would compare for me is Returnal, a game I love, and that's number 2 compared to Metroid Dread. So
I have to cop out and say I have a bunch of number 2s that incidentally were a bunch of number 2s I thought we'd never see this year.
All right.
I mean, Neo: The World Ends With You came out, new Pokemon Snap came out, and I didn't even finish that game yet, and it was just a lot of things we should have never seen happened last year.
There was a lot.
And they were all living. They all lived up to what they should have been.
It was a really good year for games last year. Honestly, all things considered,
it shouldn't have been, but it was.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been. But I guess one more thing before we get out of here that just something that sticks in my brain. This is a question without an answer, but I'll just put it out there anyway. Does anyone think it's weird that like Ubisoft continues to use like the Tom Clancy name? He's been dead for like 7 years. He died in 2015. He died like 3 to 6 months before The Division came out, which also bears his name, right? And I thought like after The Division, that would be it. No, they made 2 more Ghost Recon games. Rainbow Six is still a thing. I don't know. Like, I would love, literally, what is the deal between Ubisoft and that estate? Again, that's a question without an answer, but have you guys ever thought about this?
Tom Clancy is more brand than man at this point.
I guess it has been for a while, right? But
it's like it's kind of like Madden. More kids know him as the football game guy than as the coach,
right? Who just passed away last week, right? So
how long is EA going to sit on that?
Yeah. I mean, in the light of, I didn't even think about that when I wrote this question. It was obviously before that happened. That's probably, and I think that'll continue forever. So,
do you think that will continue?
Yes.
That seems like a different situation because Madden is like, as far as the game goes, Tom Clancy literally is a brand on the game. There's no Tom Clancy aspect to the game. It's just the brand for the style. Madden is a explicit part of that game. Like, that seems to me something more like that they would back out and say, okay, we're gonna put that to rest now.
The only way that would happen if someone reaches that broadcaster status of Madden in the NFL, and that is nobody. So like, and I mean, as a sport, I'm the sports guy here. Like, there's not even a name I can think of that could even come close to being John Madden football. I'm trying to think of some.
What do they what do they do? Like have a voice actor come in and do Madden voiceovers?
Oh God, no!
Madden
I don't.
2023. Like, how did they handle that? I don't know. It seems like it's gonna be fucking weird.
Yeah, it's gonna be weird no matter what, right? Maybe they have like stock Madden stuff they can use. I really don't know. I'm sure they're
Even
freaking out about it right now.
Like I highly doubt that they would use like stock voice footage. Like that seems like that would piss a lot of people off if they
maybe.
did that.
I'm not saying they're going to go back to like John Madden Sega CD and like pull some shit. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that like they probably have some stuff on the cutting room floor that they can cobble together. Maybe it'll be like this. It'll still be called Madden, but the other stuff will be different, but it'll be Madden in name, like in spirit and name. But the other, like, you can bring other broadcasters and do the Madden stuff. Does that make any sense? Like,
that's probably like the most likely scenario if they keep going with the Madden name. I don't know. I don't think it's like insane to like. Okay, so if Madden 2023 doesn't come out, everybody's still gonna know what the EA football game is, right? Like I don't know that has like a major impact on sales figures necessarily.
I kind of disagree. I think it might actually, but Steve,
I was just gonna say that I don't have as much knowledge about the Tom Clancy nonsense as I do about Bonds, so I couldn't exactly say what Black Magic is keeping, what they got going on with the Clancy estate, and why they wouldn't just remove his name and keep the games.
That is true.
I guess, or how long they would just keep it on there anyway.
That is true. We won't know, but it looks like it's going to continue for the foreseeable, right? But
sorry, just real quick. I just want to, is there any precedent outside, or like with video games or other media where they have taken a name and used it as a brand, like past that person's
like
forward?
A Tom Clancy? I can't really think of anything. I'm sure there's examples. I just can't. Nothing's coming to mind though. Tom Clancy is obviously the thing here, and I guess we'll find out what happens with Madden. I really do think it'll still be called Madden. I just can't. I can't picture it.
I guess you can argue Disney to an extent.
Yeah, but that's a company name, Disney, not like Walt Disney Presents something. You know what I mean? Not like that.
Yeah, they did kind of phase that out over time, though.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. I think that's about it for this show. For our first show, goddammit. Finally. We did it, everybody. This is our first and final show.
All right. Pants off, everyone.
Take off. Everyone take off your pants. Everyone take off your pants. I really, everyone who's listening to this, thank you. Steve, thank you for joining me. Kevin, thank you for joining me. If you want to follow us on Twitter, we all have Twitter names, but go to Fine Time Podcast on Twitter. In the bio, you can follow all three of us. Go to Fine Time Podcast, follow us, keep up with the show, all that good stuff, all that good promotional stuff. Thank you. See you guys later. Bye.